Okay, so I thought you guys would like to see the setup that I've cobbled together for reaming the drill press head. Basically, I've got it on the mandrel that I made, bolted to an angle plate, which is bolted to the compound slide. I lined it all up using a 3/8 drill bit, which is, these holes were originally 3/8 in size, and that was good enough for me to be able to line it up on the center line with the collar. Obviously I squared up the angle plate with the chuck before I started any of this. Then I put in, what I've decided to do is I've gone to a 25/64 reamer, which is what this is. That's pretty much the closest neck size up I could get. I didn't want to take too much off of this bronze head, because after my experiences of doing the bush for the spindle pulley, I really didn't want to be drilling this or reaming it too much, because it's just horrible stuff to work with when it comes to drilling. So I've decided to go down the route of, I'm going to make a brand new spindle, which is basically it's only a bit of steel rod with a thread, cutting it, a hole in that end, a hole in that end. That's threaded. I think that probably took a hand wheel at some point, and I can make this any size I want. So I've just decided to ream that out a little bit, which is what I've just done. I'll close in on that so you can have a look at it. Yeah, and that worked out really well. I was quite pleased about how that worked out. You've got to run it really slow. The cutting speed for reaming on fossil bronze is something like, I think it's 60 feet per minute. It's just really slow. Even on a something the size of that, it's still really slow. Anyway, it worked. So this was all rigid enough to do that, which I was quite pleased about. So now I can get on and make a new one of these, and that will have our sloppy spindle problem hopefully sorted out. So we finally got the drill head finished. Close look at that. Now I didn't film the making of the drill spindle, and I'll show you. This is the original one. Now basically it was just a matter of machining a bit of straight steel bar, putting a thread on one end, drilling a couple of holes in each end, and that's really all there was to it. It's basic machining, and there are much more proficient people out there doing that than me. If you're interested in just watching basic turning, so I didn't bother filming that. I've modified the design slightly. I've added a collar here, and I really didn't understand what they were doing here, because that to me looks like a normal shielded ball race bearing on that end there, and really that should be a thrust bearing. So I've machined up a collar, and that is a proper thrust bearing in there, so that when that pushes up against there, it's actually going up against the thrust bearing, and that's just to my mind, much better way of doing it. So yeah, so there you go. That's all sort of done now. There is no play whatsoever in this at all. It doesn't move, that way in any direction. It's just really nice now. I did take my time when I was machining up the part that goes through the main bushing and the main casting, the part that goes through the main casting. And I came up on the dimension really slowly, and I kept test fitting it until I got it just how I wanted it. And that did take a considerable amount of time, but that's what you have to do if you want to get it right, if you want to get a damn good fit, And it is. There is no play in that whatsoever. That's exactly how I wanted it. Oh, the other thing you may have noticed is this rather nice cast aluminium hand wheel that's on top here. Now, I did think I wanted a hand wheel because it just makes it a lot easier to tighten the chuck up. If you can grab that, you can tighten the chuck up nice and easy. Whereas if without the hand wheel, you've got to grab the pulley, which is not ideal. So I was trying to think about what I was going to do for the hand wheels, but I thought, well, I'll have a look online and see whether there's anybody selling these things, And there's a whole load of companies out there selling them, mainly plastic ones or Bakelite type ones. But obviously, I want an aluminium one, so I'm going to give a bit of a shout out to a company on eBay, not sponsored in any way, but I saw this hand wheel, and the company is called WDS Components, and they do a whole range of cast aluminium hand wheels from 80mm up to 500mm. This is the 80mm, smallest one they do. I'll change the camera angle so you can have a better look at it. There you go. And the reason I was so impressed with this, I ordered this on the Thursday, I think it was Thursday afternoon, and it arrived on Friday, literally the next day. Absolutely brilliant. And they've even gone to the trouble of polishing up the outer part of the hand wheel. It's really nice. It's got a boss there, so and they all have that, so you can drill and tap that and put in a vertical handle if you want to. Yeah, I'm very, very, very impressed with it. Really, the only thing that the query was it comes pre-drilled with a hole, but it was slightly off center. But I needed to drill it out anyway, so I was able to modify that and get it back on center by putting this in the lathe. But other than that, no, I think excellent little hand wheel, cast aluminium, and it cost, with shipping, that whole thing cost, I think it was about £13.60. I think the actual wheel cost about £6 or something. It was more to ship it than it was to actually pay for the wheel. And it's a really nice casting. That is a really, really nice casting. There's almost no imperfections in the casting whatsoever. And as I said, they polish up the outside. You know, I mean, you couldn't buy the aluminium and make one of those for that kind of money. So it's just really, really nice. So yeah, so that's WDS Components on eBay. I'll put a link in the description if anyone's interested. I would certainly use them again if I needed another hand wheel at any time. So there we go, the head is done. Moving on to the next part. So what are we going to do next? Well, what I thought I'd tackle next is, let's have a quick close look in at that, is the table and the base. Now there isn't any slop in any of this, so I don't think any part of it needs to be remade. But I'm going to take this off now, strip it all down into its component parts. We've got to make a handle for it because that's definitely missing. Haven't really yet decided what I'm going to do about that. I've got a few ideas for the handle. We'll see. I've got no idea what the original handle looked like, so I've got nothing to go on there. But yeah, we'll take it all apart and just make sure that there's nothing needs work on it, and other than that, just clean it up. I have a mind to make a new table because this has been pecked at and there's like 4 holes in it that very definitely shouldn't be there. So I might make another table. I think it's about getting on for 3 inches in diameter. So it's just mild steel. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But yeah, so that is the next stage.